So there comes the most important notion over here. So microeconomics means it is normally conferring with individual units. Suppose you are talking about price of a particular commodity, consumption pattern of a particular individual. All those things generally falls under the condition of microeconomics. When you are talking about aggregates in our economy, that is about GDP, unemployment, all those things are being considered means at that particular point, we are just discussing about the concept of macroeconomics. Microeconomics is actually worm's eye. That means you won't be able to analyze each and everything in a holistic perspective. Macroeconomics is bird's eye, which means that you will be able to view everything in a broad perspective. But under microeconomics, you are just watching all those things, or you are just concerned about all these things in a very stringent manner. And microeconomics is in a narrow manner, and macroeconomics is having a broader manner. So on the basis of this, you go for the postulation. Now moving on to stock as well as flow variable. So when you go for stock as well as flow variable, the economics is a flow variable because it is dynamic. But overall what happens is that our economy is always measured at a point of time. Say for example, what is the present consumption, what is the present unemployment, what is the present poverty trend. So present moment are being analyzed means there comes a stock variable. Over a period of time when you consider certain thing, over a period of time when you consider certain thing, what is the tendency of change, what is the particular thing. So over a period of time, trend of a particular factor. So over a period of time when you are considering certain variable, there comes flow, and when you are considering a particular thing at a point of time, that is called as stock. Now moving on to static and dynamic. So in economics, we have static analysis as well as dynamic analysis. It is actually based on the period in which you operate. So what is static? Static means at this particular moment. Say for example, we are talking about theoretical concept. So we are learning a particular theory. So at present, what is its application? How does it work? That is generally considered, or that is generally expressed over here. But when you are going for dynamics, what happens here is you are going for trend. Say for example, in economics, we have a theory, Cobb model. So what is Cobb model? It is put forward by Charles Cobb and Paul Douglas. So what does the theory explain us? See, suppose in agriculture sector, you are a farmer and you are working in a particular field and you undertook certain production of commodity. And what happens is in the particular market, the commodity is very rich, or our market is filled with bulk amount of commodity. So obviously on the next year, you won't go for production. Why? Because your market is filled with resources. So you won't go for production. So what happens here is there is a matching process, right? And on the basis of this matching process, production normally takes place. There is a time lag. See, when you are going for the production, you are taking into account the production process which you are there previously. So there is an association. This can be actually regarded as dt is a function of pt. D means demand, P means price. Supply is also a function of price. See, you have law of demand. What is law of demand? Law of demand was put forward by Alfred Marshall, and it postulates that when the price of a commodity increases, normally you won't, as a rational consumer, you won't purchase that particular commodity. So what happens? Quantity demanded of that particular sort of commodity declines. On the other hand, when you understood that there is demand for a particular commodity, obviously you will do what? You will increase its supply, right? And obviously, when you know that people are there to consume your product, you will increase your price. This is the working of law of supply. So here, when you go for this, there is a time lag which normally adheres to this. See, there is a time framework which is normally working over here. And now, when you're going for the consumption activity, what happens? You will always try to maintain an equilibrium. That's the most important thing. You need, or you try to make an equilibrium concern between the demand as well as supply for products in our market. Otherwise, equilibrium concern won't take place in our economy. We need a stable level of equilibrium. Otherwise, we won't be able to originate and we won't be able to proceed. That is the basic idea of this particular part or this particular module. So I hope that